How to be happy with what you have. Have you ever noticed how quickly happiness fades? You buy the new phone, and for a week, it feels amazing. Then it becomes just another object in your pocket. You get the job promotion, and you celebrate for a moment. But soon you're already asking, what's next? This endless cycle makes us believe happiness is always ahead of us, in the next achievement, the next possession, the next milestone. But rarely do we stop to ask, what if happiness isn't there? What if it's already here? This is the journey of Daniel, a man who spent years chasing more, until life forced him to discover the beauty of enough. Daniel had a good life, at least on paper. A steady job, a small apartment, a decent paycheck. He wasn't poor, but he wasn't rich either. Like most of us, he lived in the middle. And yet, he was never satisfied. Every morning he scrolled through his phone, seeing people traveling, buying homes, driving luxury cars. Each post whispered the same painful message: you're behind. He worked harder, saved more, spent on things he thought would make him feel complete. And each time, for a brief moment, he felt the rush of happiness. But it always slipped away. A new car quickly became just transportation. A promotion quickly became just another job title. A gadget quickly became outdated. And Daniel found himself whispering the same question night after night. Why am I never happy with what I already have? One rainy morning, the illusion of control shattered. Daniel was called into his boss's office. He expected praise, maybe even another raise. Instead, he was told the company was downsizing. His position no longer existed. Just like that, years of effort, status, and stability disappeared. He carried his belongings out of the office in a cardboard box, his mind heavy with fear. For so long, his identity was tied to achievement. Without it, who was he? That night, surrounded by the possessions he had worked so hard to buy, Daniel felt emptier than ever. None of it mattered now. Not the car, not the gadgets, not the expensive clothes. For the first time, he realized maybe he had been chasing the wrong thing all along. The next morning, Daniel went for a long walk. He had nowhere to be, no office demanding his time. For the first time in years, his day was unplanned. He wandered into a small cafe he'd never noticed before. The smell of fresh bread filled the air. The owner, a woman in her 50s, greeted him warmly. "You look tired," she said kindly as she handed him a coffee. Daniel forced a smile. "I lost my job yesterday." The woman nodded with understanding. "I lost mine 15 years ago. That's why I started this cafe." She leaned closer and added, "At first, I thought success meant being the biggest, having more customers than anyone else. But over time, I learned something simple. Happiness isn't in expansion, it's in appreciation." Daniel frowned and said, "What do you mean?" She placed the cup in front of him gently. "Every morning, I thank life for this cup of coffee, for the faces of the people who walk in, for one more day to serve and smile. It may not be perfect, but it's enough, and enough is beautiful." Her words struck Daniel deeply. Enough is beautiful. Later that week, Daniel visited his parents. Over dinner, he confessed his struggles: the job loss, the emptiness, the constant comparison. His father listened quietly before speaking. "Son, do you know what I remember most about my life?" Daniel shook his head. "It's not the promotions, not the things I bought. It's the evenings your mother and I sat on the porch, drinking tea, watching the sunset. Those are the treasures I carry with me. Everything else fades." His mother added softly, "Happiness isn't about getting what you don't have. It's about noticing the blessings you already hold." That night, lying in his childhood bed, Daniel replayed their words in his mind. Enough is beautiful. Notice the blessings you already hold. The next morning, Daniel tried something new. Instead of reaching for his phone, he sat still and asked himself one question. What do I already have right now that makes life worth living? At first, his mind resisted, but slowly answers appeared. A roof over his head, food on the table, health in his body, parents who loved him, friends who cared, air in his lungs. The list grew longer each day, and as it did, something strange happened. The hunger for more began to fade. Daniel started noticing things he had ignored for years. the sound of birds outside his window, the warmth of morning sunlight, the laughter of children playing in the street. Joy wasn't hiding in the future. It was right here, in the present. One afternoon, Daniel walked through the city and saw a homeless man he had once rushed past. This time he stopped. He bought 2 sandwiches and sat beside him. For a while they ate in silence. Then the man smiled and said, "People think I have nothing, but I wake up every day and still see the sun. I hear music from the street. I laugh sometimes. That's something. That's enough." Daniel felt tears in his eyes. Here was a man with almost nothing, yet he carried more gratitude than Daniel had ever known. And in that moment, Daniel finally understood. Happiness wasn't about how much you owned. It was about how deeply you noticed it. Months later, Daniel started a new job. It wasn't the highest paying or most prestigious, but it allowed him to use his skills, connect with people, and still have time for life outside of work. But the biggest change wasn't his job, it was his mindset. Every evening he wrote down 3 things he was grateful for. Some days they were big, his parents' health, a supportive friend. Other days they were small, a smile from a stranger, the taste of warm soup, the peace of a quiet walk. The more he practiced gratitude, the lighter he felt. The comparisons faded, the restlessness quieted, and for the first time Daniel felt free. Daniel's journey wasn't about giving up ambition. It wasn't about refusing to grow. It was about shifting his focus. He discovered that happiness isn't waiting in the future. It isn't hidden in the next promotion, the next car, the next vacation. Happiness is already here, quietly waiting in the life you already have. The secret is simple. You don't become happy when you get everything you want. You become happy when you realize you already have more than you need. So the next time you find yourself chasing tomorrow, stop, take a breath, look around, and whisper the truth Daniel discovered. Enough is already beautiful.